Welcome back to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we are reviewing today is the Masakage Kiri Honesuki 150 millimeter knife. So this line of knives is composed of a multi-layered sandwich of steels and steel and cladding. And so the core steel is VG10 full stainless steel, used in many different knife lines. The heat treat's around 61 to 62 Rockwell on that core steel, and the construction is a multi-layered cladding, stainless cladding with, looks like they did some etching on it to bring out those layers, so that's, your Damascus style or Suminagashi style cladding, and that is over the top of that. So it's an all stainless knife. The knife is double bevel. Not all Honesuki knives are double bevel. Some of them are single bevel, and this one, of course, would be appropriate for lefties or right-handers. The knife is pretty light. It is 108 grams, or 3.8 ounces. Edge length, and the weights and dimensions will vary a little bit from knife to knife on these, but this particular one's about 152 millimeters on the edge from the tip to the chin, about 6 inches even, 11.7 inches on the overall length. The spine thickness coming out of the handle above the chin of the back of the blade is about 3.2 millimeters, and then about halfway down we go to 2.6, and then we start to thin down as you get towards the tip, and then you make the turn here at the end, and then it thins out with the grind and gets pretty skinny right at the very tip. So this tip should be pretty darn precise for getting into joints, which is what's really handy for this style of knife. So this is, remember, a Japanese poultry processing knife. It's not meant to go through bones, it's meant to go through joints. The blade height is 40.2 millimeters on this one, and the handle is one of their kind of signature style handles. It's an oval ambidextrous magnolia or hoe wood with a red packawood ferrule. Very smooth fit and finish on the handle, nice install. Handle circumference, where the ferrule and main handle would meet, is about 3 inches or 76 millimeters. And this style of knife, you might get chicken goo all over the handle, so it's a good idea to seal that handle up with the sealant of your choice to keep some of that stuff out of there so you can keep it more sanitary. Let's take a close-up look at the knife. They put their kanji on the left side of the blade, so let's look at that. You get a really pretty effect with the Suminagashi or Damascus or layers, and there's your core steel showing at the edge, and there's the actual edge bevel. You've got some hand-chiseled kanji, very nice design. If you run your finger across it, you can feel it. It's got a nice raised, very crisp look to it. As per usual on their knives, you've got some rounding to the corners on the spine, polish to that, some nice polish and corner rounding on the choil, so very comfortable out of the box. These also have a nice out-of-the-box edge, which is typical of almost all Masakage knives I've handled, and so I'll give this a good solid 7 out of 10 on the edge. It gets pretty thin at the edge as well. You can kind of see that. Let's take a look at it on the cutting board. This is also a stiff blade, which most of these blades try to have a pretty stiff feel to them, and this certainly does. Balance point, if you are interested, is right about there. So a little bit behind the choil, a little bit in front of the handle. Here is the profile. These typically have enough height with the angle that the spine comes into the knife where you've got plenty of height for board clearance for your fingers. And so this has a rather curvy profile to it. So you could definitely do some double duty with this if you wanted to use it for, slicing up a few things here and there. I wouldn't say it's a high performance, general purpose knife, but it's pretty doggone thin at the edge. And so it should work well in a pinch if you need to process some stuff while you're, while the knife's handy. But there's your profile if you're interested in it. It does get pretty thin at that very tip. So just a real nice execution. Beautiful knife. Really pretty knife. So or you have another interesting knife in this Masakage Kiri set or line. So this is the Masakage Kiri VG10 Honesuki 150 millimeter knife.